back to another podcast. This is No Sugar, No Cream podcast. It is Tuesday, and guess what, guys? This is episode 6-7, as the kids would say. 6-7. Yeah, that one's causing my brain to rot a little bit, but I get a kick out of it. So it's still cool. Last time I checked.
No.
Yeah. No.
Why would you?
Why would you think?
Why would you think?
Why would you think?
Oh my gosh.
Well, if it's not that, it's something else. As you can see, we're getting a kick out of some TikTok thing, or of course, like everything else, it takes off on TikTok. But guys, it's Tuesday, and another episode for you. Hopefully, you enjoy having a good Tuesday, staying cool. Been pretty chilly here lately. No snow around here. They're getting snow up north in places. No, thank you. We're about to head further south. Once December comes, so we're ready to get away from even the chilly weather, which it is chilly. It's been staying in the 40s. You still get up to 60 some days, but yeah. Not a fan of that cold weather. What are you thinking? We looking good on sound over there?
Looking good.
Awesome. We just checking make sure everything goes well with our system. Tim, how's your day going?
Oh, busy.
Busy.
You know, doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. You know, it's a complicated case.
The dude abides. The dude abides. Please make note of all references we make to movies and TikTok fads or whatever you call them during this podcast. New Chit video yesterday, of course. Those still killing it with those.
Yeah,
Those are
budget
still...
got the budget done. budget.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But he does finish the budget, supposedly. The budget doesn't stay intact very long, though. This is pretty funny.
His long-suffering boss, Peter.
They all decide to invite themselves over to his house for Thanksgiving. And he's like, no. The best way to get out of that.
Well, we learned he's got a crush on Linda.
The Chit does?
Peter.
Oh, did he play that out there?
He invited Linda for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then was mad when everybody else invited themselves.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good that would make sense. Yeah, I would say he did that very he did it in a non-flirty way, but that makes sense. Yeah.
Why would he get so mad when everybody else is coming?
No, that makes sense. I didn't even think about it. I was just kind of enjoying him going crazy with them all inviting themselves over to his house.
Everybody has a crush on Linda. Me too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it.
I have a crush on the actress who plays Linda.
I noticed that they put Subway in there again. I wonder if Subway is sponsoring them now. It's like, because they did that at the beginning. They probably didn't have a sponsorship at the beginning, I doubt. But now they're using Subway again. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Subway loves to put their money into advertising. That'd be perfect. Like there's a good Chit is such a beloved between like all kinds of people, young, old, all nationalities. It's a very, very something we can all laugh at. And in this crazy world, it's nice to have something like that to laugh at.
How would you describe Chit? I think he definitely has to be on the spectrum, autistic spectrum. Yeah, and he's either extremely good at something or extremely bad. I mean, there's no middle ground. That when they wrote the character, I'm thinking
major it's so funny. And on one end, he's so good with people skills, and on the other end, he's so bad. Like literally, he keeps in contact with everybody.
Right.
Everybody in the office. He calls everybody and has like 30-minute conversations with them every night.
Yeah.
Even the guy that doesn't talk. What is it, Sam or something?
Who's Kyle? Which one is Kyle? Kyle is the one behind the camera.
Kyle. Yep. Yeah, I can't. Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
We are not sponsored by the Chit Show.
Oh man,
not sponsored.
I love a good reference too. You didn't catch that one reference when he's talking about ponking. Ponk is when you press the horn.
According to Chit, this is
according to Chit, yeah. And honk is
what happens after you ponk. He just made that up.
I should have punked.
The entertainment today.
Dude, like that's so clever. Like who comes up with that? That is so clever.
They are high level stuff. Clever. I mean, it's you may think that it's just, some guys playing around, guys and gals playing around, but they're professionals. They've been doing it for a while. Comedians, I don't know who, they maybe have writers also helping them. We should probably research this as someone writing, a writing team behind them, because it's 2025. You don't need it. There's no barriers to entry. You can, it's like, I remember seeing a clip by, who's the guy who played George Costanza? What was the name of the actor? Anyway, he's now getting into coaching aspiring actors. And he said, you don't just go to auditions, hundreds of auditions, hoping someone picks you. You get together with your friends, someone who wants to be, a videographer, someone who wants to be a writer. And today you make your own project, and hopefully you get some attention. And eventually you get some legs and you might get the funding you need. Or you might not ever need the funding because you've got your own funding because you're so successful and you're making so much money from the projects that you're doing, because you could make money on YouTube, get a lot of streams. You can make a lot of good, millions of dollars. The top YouTubers are making, right?
Oh yeah.
Just from YouTube. And then there's other ways you could do product placement and a lot of things. So the top YouTubers, Mr. Beast aside, but they're making 20 million a year, aren't they? The top ones.
Oh yeah. Like David Dobrik, he switched over to Snapchat, and that's what he makes, about 20 million just from uploading video, little clips and to Snapchat every day. He uploads probably like about 50 pictures and little clips. So, and he has a secretary that just is kind of in charge of that, because that's where the bulk of their money. He even said that's where the bulk of their money is coming right now. Because for the most part, so YouTube will demonetize his videos. But now here recently, he's only doing one about every 2 weeks, and they've had to advertise on him, and then he usually has like SeatGeek has probably thrown millions of dollars at David Dobrik. So they've definitely probably seen a return.
Who has
SeatGeek? Just like Ticketmaster. But
they're a sponsor.
Yeah, they're a big sponsor. In fact, I'm going to sound like a commercial, because the big difference with SeatGeek is because they code everything from red to green. So the greener it is, the better price it is, closer to the original price, or even less.
The meaning to tell you, SeatGeek reached out to us.
Oh yes,
they want us to be they want to sponsor us.
SeatGeek, please use code no sugar no cream. Unfortunately, this is not a sponsor.
No, that's completely a joke. It's completely a joke. I'm just
not sponsored.
Maybe not sponsored.
As my custom shirt says, not sponsored. No sugar, no cream. Not sponsored.
Yeah, you can get No Sugar, No Cream design T-shirts. We have them available in my store, thewolfcreek.com. We have merch. I'm actually wearing a Tim Wolf merch T-shirt today. Oh no, I'm not. No, I was wearing that yesterday. I forgot what I was wearing. Actually, I was wearing it this morning when I went for my walk, but I changed after and put on a black T-shirt. So you can get Tim Wolf merch. You can get No Sugar, No Cream merch T-shirts. And I think we have about 4 designs in there. TheWolfCreek.com. If you like our vibe, if you like our stuff.
Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe.
So we're just, an uncle and a nephew, talking about things that interest us.
We're related?
And, we talk about our hobbies. We talk about music. And funniest man in Nashville over here.
Questionable.
And we have some guests that come sometimes. Walter Wimble has stopped in.
Walter Wimble, yes.
And Deborah from Indiana.
Well, she's been kind of upset at you lately, Tim. You refuse to bring her cigarettes.
And there are a few other characters.
I gotta get me some outfits. I do love doing little skits and stuff like that. I know. I need to pull. I've been talking about it. I just need to pull you into it. I wanted to do the one silly. I know you don't like stuff as much that's been redone, and I mean I'm all for
no.
trying something new.
I'm about originality. I don't like. There's a common thing on TikTok. Somebody does something, and then everybody copies it, and I'm not a big fan of that.
Well, this is something that has been done in a while, so everybody forgot about it.
So, I mean, I understand. They say that. What I think of the phrase, artist, thieves steal, but thieves copy, but artists steal. I'm bastardizing the phrase, but there is a phrase like that, and all the great songwriters talk about, copying. I mean, the Led Zeppelin ripped off, some say, a lot of old blues musicians' music. Elvis Presley is accused of just copying things that were redone in the African American world and doing them for a white audience, things that had already been done.
Is this official?
Oh, there's lots of articles about it. No.
Yeah. Please join Tim on his. He will be starting a lawsuit, and we will be suing these large companies.
So all I'm trying to say is that copying is something that's been going for a long time, and every musician does learn things from their heroes. And so where's the line? But the thing that gets me is where people do, you can find a skit and people do the exact same skit, or maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I'm doing the Bobby Finn thing. No.
Why would you think?
It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh.
It is. It's funny. I tried watching some of his older videos, and they weren't funny at all. He just found a little niche there with his little.
When is it appropriation? I don't know. Maybe that's a subject for debate today. I mean, when is it just funny and not across a line, or is there ever a line? I mean, it's all open. I don't know. I'm not the one to set the line. I'm not authority. But I know when I'm personally not happy.
Mom, can you come pick me up? Tim's starting a lecture on not a lecture, like a debate, and they scare me. I peed myself a little. And
don't stand up.
Pick me up at the back door. Yeah, just drive through the backyard, and that's fine.
Your mom's 4 hours away. No, 6 hours away.
And she has dementia.
she's gonna be a long time before she gets here.
Love you, Mom.
So. Well, what's new for you?
I'm feeling
Seth?
good. Cowboys won yesterday. That was nice. They're looking good, but they're playing the Eagles Sunday. So, which the Eagles, of course, won the Super Bowl last year. So that's gonna be a tough game. But the Eagles aren't playing their best. I mean, goodness, their last game was very defensive. So Yeah, I think they have a chance, but should be interesting.
Well, the Cowboys certainly put on a offensive clinic, didn't they?
Yeah,
They just
I
killed.
think they were just trying to. They have the players, the receivers to do it, and they were upset with. I think they was upset with how they played last game or whatever. So they didn't let them play the first two starters, the wide receiver starters. They held them for the first downs, and then didn't have them come in until the next series. And they had an amazing night. They were like, got the note. I was like, all right, we need to play better or whatever it was. I mean, that seems like that was what was going on, and they both did amazing. The offense was doing fantastic, and the defense was killing it. And I think that was one of our huge issues is our defense, and so we're looking good. I'm excited about that. I'm flying out next Tuesday, so hopefully we'll do a podcast right when I get to my I get there like at 4 or 5. So we might be able to pull off doing a podcast. If not, we could do it. Or if we miss a week, it's not the end of the world.
So when do you on Tuesday?
I fly out at like 2, get there like at 4:30.
We haven't, just being honest, we haven't had much luck actually nailing down a date and a time when you leave. Now you won't be on a ship though.
Tuesday.
You won't be on a ship.
No. I'm going to Dallas for the Dallas Cowboy Thanksgiving.
And the time zone is the same. You don't have an hour. You're not an hour later.
Does Dallas have the same time zone?
Yes, Dallas is central. Yes,
okay,
Dallas is
central. Okay.
So when do you land? You think you can do a 5 o'clock?
4:30?
Oh, no way. That's too late. We can do it later. What time do you want to do it? I mean, it's Thanksgiving.
I think I should be able to do it by
Thanksgiving week. I don't know if we want to do it on Wednesday. Everybody's going to be rushing. Wednesday's not going to be a good time. Let's do it. It's not a big deal.
If we can't do it Tuesday, we'll skip.
Let's do it.
We'll try to do it Tuesday.
Let's do it later. Let's set the time. What time can you make it?
Let's try to do it by 6.
6
because I want to go out
an hour later. Let's do an hour later. So let's plan on.
But I'll load you
6 o'clock.
I might be able to do it 5. I'll just call you as soon as I land.
If you land at 4:30, there's no. You have to get to your hotel. How far is your hotel from the airport?
Like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Or probably not.
So we're up in the air on the timing for the next podcast. It'll be 68.
Could you guys
number
figure that
68?
Out? Can you guys spot the letter A? We're deciding to cater to small children because they have there's large numbers of them. So just for the next 5 minutes, Google, can you see the letter C? Tim, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is green.
Good. Thanks goodness I like that question because I could see that going 2 ways. I saw him picturing me, punching me in the face, or happily telling me that his favorite color was green. I thought you liked orange also. Is that orange?
I do like orange, yes.
Colors?
Orange.
Well, that is excellent.
But green has always been my favorite color. I just remember my mom asked me what my favorite color was, and I said green, and she painted the room in my bedroom was green. I had green walls in my bedroom. So I guess I decided early on that green is my favorite color.
It's always been.
And you can't change it. It's not allowed to be changed in your lifetime. Once you pick it, it's got to be the same.
Confession.
You've changed your favorite color.
Yes.
What was it originally?
Okay, blue.
And now it is?
Red.
Why did you change?
Because I felt like the only reason I like blue was because my dad's favorite color was blue.
Ah.
And so then I went to red when I was like close to the teen years, because I definitely prefer red. But then there's like combinations of drink, like red and black, really cool.
Do you know the 3 primary colors?
Yes, I should. Goodness, here we go: yellow, blue, red. Okay.
Yes. Now the thing about it is, in fact, I even started writing a song about this because I'm a songwriter. If you don't know. And I think that blue and red are strong colors. They deserve to be judged as primary colors. I think yellow is a very wimpy color, and it shouldn't be a primary color. It should be maybe a secondary or a tertiary color. So I started writing a song saying that yellow doesn't deserve to be labeled as a primary color. It just seems like a wimpy. It seems like it should be a secondary color.
I mean, I
You
think
think
those
this
three
song would do
colors-
well?
I don't think so, Tim. I'm going to be honest with you. I like being very supportive, Tim, but I don't know about this. I was like, I think there's a scientific thing where those three colors go together, and you can't just say, well, that one's wimpy. That one doesn't belong here. Poor Yeller. All those favorite people their favorite color is yellow. Tim's apology is coming next week. He likes to write
It's
these
a wimpy
things.
color. It's not strong like blue.
Please.
I mean, orange is stronger than yellow. Orange is a strong color.
Everybody to spite Tim in the comments, write old Yeller. I don't know.
So the secondary colors are, let's say you mix them together. Purple is, of course, blue and red, and green is must be yellow and blue, and orange must blue and yellow, I guess.
If you slip down the stairs, if you fall down the stairs, you would tell me, right?
If I fell down the stairs,
if you fell down the stairs, you would tell me.
Yes. Why?
Okay, just checking.
Well, the secondary colors, they're a fact. You know that, right? Purple. Why do you think they call states that are not Democratic or Republican purple? There's a reason. It's when you mix red and blue, you get purple.
You're right. Right.
Green is a mixture of yellow and blue.
Yeah. What is it?
And then orange must be red and yellow.
And then what's the two colors that like you can put like a ball of one color and it just whites it out, makes it turn white. Yeah, yellow and purple, right? Or something like that. Yellow. Purple,
I don't know about that.
Oh no, I just saw videos where like they put one color into another and then it just turns white. Like, which is interesting. Interesting, like how that works. I don't know my colors very well, but I do have my favorite color. My favorite color is red. The children are still watching, so this is good. Other than all the poor little children that like yellow, they're all crying to their mother. Mommy, I never want to watch No Sugar, No Cream again.
I'm sorry. I am not going to back down. Yellow is too wimpy of a color to be a primary color. This is my opinion.
All right, you apologize to the 2-year-olds, Tim. They deserve to like yellow. If you like yellow, you like yellow. Yellow is a wonderful color. Like Tim said earlier, he fell down the stairs and he got caught up on this thing about colors. There's a story here. Tim have I don't know if we've told the story of we thankfully Tim no longer has the house that has the stairs from hell.
Oh yeah, my house in Watertown, South Dakota
had what was
they put like ceramic on the edge of the stairs,
or completely made out of ceramic, maybe
just the lips.
Yes.
Lip. There was like 2-inch lip, and then it went around the edge.
Oh, it was just the lips?
Yeah. So if you, and then it was slate the rest of the stair. So if you put your heel, like the heel of your foot on, now see, this is Watertown where you get snow all the time. And so, or rain, and you walk into the back door, which I rarely use the front door. You walk into the back door, and if there's any moisture, like you got snow on because snow clings to your shoe, right? And you start going downstairs, or maybe it melts from your shoe and it gets on the stair. Some moisture on that ceramic is extremely slippery. And I one time fell. I was going downstairs and you were asleep. And I broke my finger. It was literally at an angle. It was not at a right angle, but it was like a 45-degree angle. And I think it was, which hand? I don't remember which hand it was.
Must have been highly right self-sufficient man didn't even tell me.
I guess you were there. You were sleeping. I don't remember. I remember going to the emergency room and being so upset that it took so long. It took a long time. If anything,
it would have been good for me to do there just to hang out with you.
It was a small town, but it took a long time. I thought they should have taken care of me a lot faster than they did. I mean, I wasn't in a lot of pain, but obviously my finger was broken because it was at like a 45-degree angle.
God, yeah,
it must have been this one because it didn't bother me that much. If it was my left hand, I think I would have been really freaked out because that's my guitar playing hand. So it must have been this hand. I don't use my pinky much.
You were there for a couple hours, right?
Yeah. And you fell down that stairs as well once.
Yep, and
because I got moisture on it and it didn't hold
we both had fallen down those stairs within the same couple days.
Yeah, it was very, very dangerous. After that, I would hang onto the guardrail and be very careful going up and down because whoever came up with the idea of putting that ceramic, like it was like a lip, 2-inch lip on the top, and then wrapped around 2 inches going down on the vertical part of the step. Who would put that on a stair? It's just absolutely really bad, really stupid.
Yeah, if I have socks on, I'm pretty slippery on these stairs here, so I hold on to the rail. I've slipped and fallen once.
Really? That's wood. It's wood. It's wood.
But because the socks, the cotton socks, like it just makes it really. If you just hit it, well, it probably helped too. That I think I probably maybe stepped a little bit close to the edge. Where it made my foot fly off. But so I had a little.
Today's subject is falling in your own home. Dangerous.
Hey, there's a whole Netflix called The Staircase. I've never watched it, but basically, the question is, did the husband push her or did she fall on her own? And that's the question. And there's I think the entire small series on Netflix, and it's called Staircase. I'm like, man, you got to be amazing. It is amazing how some of these people can write like such good documentaries or whatever, and make them so interesting when like it's just around one little thing, and like you're just kind of killing time to get to answer that question, which you could kind of quickly figure out watching a documentary. Like, like, oh, this documentary sucks. Like they're just dragging it on when like, let's wrap it up. This could be done, finished up in an inside edition clip of 3 minutes. I love that. You ever will see the inside edition clips? I always click on inside edition clips because they tell you the full story like in less than 3 minutes. So yeah, anytime you see an inside edition clip, I was like, I follow them too. So I think I started following them just because they just like, I think they got the show on TV or whatever, but it's perfect for YouTube because 2-3 minutes and you get they tell you the full story.
Now you got me thinking about that house. I love that house. I got it.
I know, I enjoy that
expensively. I mean, a realtor was showing me. I mean, I could talk prices. I think Watertown isn't that expensive, but they were looking at houses for. My realtor was a good friend from my church, great guy, and I knew he was a realtor, so I hired him, and he was a very good realtor as well. I've even forgotten his name now already. He also owned the gym downtown, and I would go there, 24-hour gym. I'd go there, work out. Anyway, great guy, good Christian man. Went to my church, and he was showing me houses that were like 180, 190, which seems incredibly cheap now. This was like 20. When did I buy that house? 2015. So 10 years ago. And I said, I don't need this big of a house. It's just me. And so he started showing me houses that were less. And he showed me this brick house. I mean, I ran across a picture of it. It was just the quaintest, coolest little house. And the couple that had it before did a lot of work in the yard. They planted a lot of, especially the side backyard. They had done a lot of paving stones and put a lot of perennial flowers and bushes. And it was just absolutely amazing. And it had a 2-car garage, there were 2 separate stalls. And it just had it kind of reminded me of a grandma's house because it was an older house. And it had a 3-bedroom, but the bedrooms were tiny. This house was built, I think, in 1919. And so the bedrooms were tiny, but it had been modernized. The kitchen was relatively modern. And it had full central air and heat. So had a full basement.
And that's something I always go in nostalgia for is a basement. I love a nice basement. And you had the whole setup down there, the couch.
Even had an attic, which if I'd stayed longer, I could have refinished the attic. It was a full ceiling height.
Oh yeah,
it had a very, whatever you call, a very steep, roof. And you could have, now on the sides, you couldn't stand up, but there's plenty of room. It was plenty big enough to be a bedroom even. And I even scoped it out. You could even put a bathroom up there because there was a space directly above the main bathroom that you could have run the piping up to it, and you could have just added another bath, and never got around to that. But it could have been another room up there. So that would have been the biggest room in the house. And I just, I only had it bought it in 2015, and I sold it in 2017. I mean, I only had it for 2 years. I guess only had it for 2 years. But a lot of warm memories there.
Yeah,
you visited a few times. We had some
Christmases.
We had a couple Christmases there. We did one Christmas where your brother was there, and we cooked an incredible meal. I remember the menu we had. Remember that? We had osobuco.
Yeah.
And I had the menu. I said, I want to make osobuco. I like osobuco. And your brother's like, well, I've never made it before, but show me the menu, or show me the, what do you call it? The recipe. And I bought a special, what do you call it? Cast iron cooker. It's a cast iron. It's like a bowl, but it's got a lid. I don't know, there's a term for it. And that's what you're supposed to make it in. And I haven't used it since, but I got it special for the osobuco. And I think we had 3 different courses. It had a lot. And the 3 of us, we worked hard, and the family was pretty impressed, I think. And, great memories there. And then the next Christmas, your brother didn't come, but you and I, and it was just as good.
It definitely was a lot harder without Daniel.
It was a lot harder without Daniel. A lot harder. And I love that house. I mean, when I see pictures of it, had a big bush in the front. I remember that would flower, and I have pictures of it when it would flowering. And I can't remember. Somebody told me what it was. It was kind of a unique bush, big bush, probably like 6 feet across and 6 feet high. And in the spring it would flower, and just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. The people that lived there before had done all that. And so the only problem was it had 1 toilet, but it had 2 showers. So the downstairs had a shower and a little, what do you call it, vanity, where you can wash your hands. What do you call it? A vanity sink, and with a mirror, but it had no toilet. So it really wasn't a technically two bath house. And my realtor said, if you want to sell this and make any money, you really need to have a 2-bath house. And I mean, this one downstairs doesn't count because it doesn't have a toilet. So I said, okay, let's put it in. I mean, and so we had some people come in and figure out that the plumbing line, or the main sewer line, the big, it's like 4 inches. What's the main sewer line? It's like 4 or 5 inches or whatever, that goes out underneath the road to underneath the city sewer, went right underneath in the concrete, right underneath where we'd want to put the toilet. So all we had to do was tap into it. So I got a quote for it, and it was like $4,000 or $5,000. That's a lot of money. So I was able to find some guys who did this, worked for a contractor, and they came and did it on the side and only charged me like a couple $100. And they came in with pickaxes, broke out the hole where it was, because we figured out where it was going. It was at an angle. It was really interesting. And broke out the concrete down to where it was. And then the plumber came in, and he put a hole in the sewer line. And he's getting ready to put the tap into it and put the part that you attach a toilet to, and then the other guys are going to come back and pour concrete over that because it was concrete floor. And he said, okay, I'm working on this, and the plumbing line is exposed. There's a hole in it, so don't use it. I'm upstairs, and he's down there working. I completely forgot, and I used it, and I did a big job, and I flushed the toilet. I run downstairs. He's covered. he was working on it. This was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I
So
guess
I'm guessing there was a hazard charge in the bill.
he actually didn't charge me for that, but sad story. I apologize. I wouldn't stop apologizing because I was so embarrassed because he had told me don't use the toilet while I am working on this, and I just, I don't know. I just completely was doing my business and doing my work and thought, oh, okay, I'll use the restroom. And
oh yeah, you instantly forget. I mean, yeah,
you forget. I mean, it's like
happening.
you hit the light switch and the light comes on. You don't remember these conveniences that we have. Turn on the spigot of the water faucet and the water comes. I mean, we don't. 100 years ago they didn't even have these things. So, you go to the dishwasher or dishwasher or clothes washer and you have to wash your clothes. I mean, these conveniences we take for granted. We didn't even have. I mean, as long as human beings have been living, we've had this stuff for a very, very short period of time, and we just, oh, the power's out, light switch doesn't work. Oh my gosh, I can't do what I want to do.
But our worlds would fall apart.
We can't. We
so
we get used to these things, and
we adapt very quickly.
We adapt very quickly to these conveniences. And when I went to school, we had to walk uphill both ways. I went to a one-room schoolhouse. We didn't even have running water, and we had to use an outhouse for doing our business. And just a hole in the ground, and it's a wooden flat board with a hole in it that you sit on. And there was one for boys and one for girls. And I went there from 1 through 5th grade, and I'm just thinking about if you had to use the toilet, you asked the teacher, can I go use, and I know I used it because, I mean, you went to school there for 5 years, and asking the teacher, can I go to the restroom? Yes. And so I'm just thinking of my little, 1st grade. How old is a 1st grader? 6 years old, 7 years old?
Yeah.
My little 6-year-old butt, bare butt on the cold, on the wood.
Hoping not to get a splinter.
Hoping not to get a splinter. Yeah. And, we didn't think anything of it. It was just what it was. Imagine you get a modern day kid having to use something like that.
You had electricity though
We had electricity. They just didn't have plumbing. They had wire. It's easy to run wire. I mean, they run the wire across the power lines, which came down the road, and they just had to tap into it. But in order to have, you had to have well water. You'd have to have water, right? And you'd have to have a well. You'd have to dig a well. And then you'd have to have a septic tank. That's a lot. It's a lot more than adding electricity. I mean, we had, like, for lunch or for breaks, we had little cartons of milk. We had electricity and we had a refrigerator, and then for water, somebody would come and bring fresh water. We had water, those plastic things you can get. You turn them upside down and they go, and then you can use a spigot to fill up your little paper cup. We had that. So, but a delivery man would come and bring milk. I think different delivery people would come, milk, and then for water. So we had drinking water. We just didn't have.
So what did they just a school opened up that was close enough, and they just shut it down and bus you to the closest school at some point?
At that time they had schools. Rural schools, every township had their own school, and a township is 36 square miles. That's the definition of a township in South Dakota anyway. And so it would be at the center of that. So nobody had to go. So it'd be 6 miles by 6 miles is the township, and they would be in the center.
Oh, wow.
So nobody had to go more. If you lived in that township, nobody had to go more than at most 3 miles to get there. And, I mean, that was back in the day. They started that system, I think, before there was even cars and those sort of things. And it just continued on. And then when I was in 5th grade, and they had a county superintendent who was in charge of all the rural schools. And I remember when she would visit sometime, and my teacher would get so nervous because she was scared of him. She was so strict. I can't remember her name, but the county superintendent would come out and just raise heck. You're not doing this right or whatever. And I remember my teacher, Mrs. Gross, with my teacher for the first four years. She would get so nervous when she knew that the superintendent was coming, and I mean, we weren't. We would go on. I remember we'd have a day where we could go on trips, and what they call it? They call it tours. And they take us to the bottling plant where they bottle the Coca-Cola. We'd see all the bottlers work, and they take us to. We always got to go to the fire station and slide down the fire pole. Maybe I think twice a year. Maybe we'd take these trips. We'd all get in a car and go. There weren't that many of us, and maybe multiple cars, and go on a tour and see different things. See where they made milk, where they put milk in the cartons. We'd see that. We'd see where they bottled the Coke. Different businesses would give us, school trip tour. And that would always be exciting. I mean, so it wasn't like we were not enjoying our life. We'd have recess. We'd go play ball. Remember, that's where I hit my first home run at recess, and I came home and I was so excited that at home we'd play softball. And I remember the first time I hit a home run, and I came home, and I think I told my dad, and my mom must have told my dad, because my dad came in, and I said, "Guess what happened today?" And my dad says, "You hit a home run, didn't you?" And then he gives me a big chest bump. We used to chest bump each other, and I felt so proud of myself that I hit a home run. So that was my days going to Milford Township School in Beetle County, South Dakota. Milford Township.
Yeah, a lot different than today.
And shout out to my first album, Everything I Learned in Grade School. Mm-hmm. The school, that one-room schoolhouse, what it looks like today, is on the cover of that album.
It looks so cool. It looks really neat.
What it looks like today. It's still standing, but nobody uses it. It's
still today, even?
Nobody uses it. It's still standing. Well, when the picture was taken, the album came out in 22. Yeah. And I think that I had a local farmer send me a picture. He went down there and took some photos of it. And
that farmer took the pictures for you?
A local farmer.
They took very good pictures.
He did.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they look fantastic. Well, my VA cleaned them up a bit. Yeah, did some Photoshop stuff. I mean, they had that we took. There were power lines that you could see from the road, and then there was a fence. He stood behind a fence.
Big power lines instantly date you a little bit.
Yeah, so we got rid of that. She photoshopped that out, and then the fence right in front, because he went into the pasture and to get a good view of it, and we photoshopped that out. So it looks like it's just in the middle of the prairie with nothing, from miles, and that's the look we were going for, and we photoshopped it. Being honest. Now, all of you that bought the CD, if you want to return it, just let me know, because it's been photoshopped.
Scammed. Tim's childhood was a scam.
So there were two of those square buildings next to each other. And what was going on was the one to the north, just happened to be the north, was grades 1 through 4, and then the other one was grades 5 through 8, and then you'd go on to high school somewhere. And so I spent my first 4 years in the north one, and see, the first year there were 2 of us in the grade, a local pastor's kid, or maybe 3, and then the local pastor moved, pastors change roles, and took his kid with him. So grades 2, 3, and 4.
Glad to hear he took his child with him.
Grades 2, 3, and 4. I was the only one in my grade. And then grade 5, the kid in front of me flunked, and another pastor came in with a daughter in my grade, and so there were 3 of us in my 5th grade class.
Was she cute?
I don't remember. Honestly, don't remember. And then the whole state, or it'd be the whole county shut down all of those one-room schoolhouses. I don't know how many there were, but there are a number.
You were in what grade when that happened?
5th grade was my last grade.
So you were about to have to go to.
And then I went to Willow Lake.
Okay.
For my 6th grade. It was a big deal. I mean, I'd gone to a one-room schoolhouse, and all of a sudden I'm going to this big
Willow
school.
Lake had a school. Well, that's only 15, 20 minutes away, right? From the it was a little further.
Half hour.
Half
Half
hour.
hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same as Huron.
And what did you just say?
Huron.
Oh, I thought you said, did you see how? You see how? I thought
Him?
you were doing Bobby Finn. Some people went to Huron. Some people went to, because we were right on the edge of the county. We were literally half a mile away. So Milford is in the northwest corner of Beetle County. So, and we were on the complete eastern edge. So half a mile from us. No, that's not true. That's not true. I just lied. We weren't. There's another one. There's Barrett Township. So I just back up. But we were on the northern edge of the county. So we could go to the Clark County, or we could go to Huron, which was the bigger town. And a bunch of the kids went to James Valley, which was a private Christian school. And so a lot of them were a lot of Mennonites there, and they all went to the James Valley kind of. And so I could have gone to Huron, which would have been a half hour, and it was kind of the same distance. My dad chose to send us to Willow Lake. And why do you think he chose that?
They're probably more flexible with taking kids out for
Do you think it was because of they had better schooling for the kids?
Definitely not.
Right, you're correct. No consideration for that. My dad chose based on who had the lowest property taxes.
Oh, because they would be. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because whichever one you go to, you have to pay the property taxes for that school district.
Oh my goodness. That's
so
hilarious.
he didn't care. He didn't care about the education. In fact, he didn't think he was probably ready to pull me out because his dad pulled him out when he was in 9th grade.
Yeah, he probably thought you were getting dumber the longer you stayed.
In fact, my mom told me after I graduated high school that Dad wanted to pull me out after 9th grade. And she put her foot down, as she would say. I put my foot down. That was her saying. And she said, no, we're going to let him. I didn't even know this until I graduated high school. I graduated valedictorian in my class, and I went on to a very tough school, South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, which is for an engineering degree.
Tim was no dumb farmer.
But my dad wanted me not even to go to high school.
That could have made things much even worse, right? If he would have pulled you out of school, because you enjoyed school, right?
Yeah.
I never liked it.
I mean, I participated in sports and I mean, boy, I couldn't even imagine if I was working as a farmer from 9th grade. He had a chip on his shoulder about it till he died. Because his sister, who was like a year older than him, Mabel, she was able to go on and get 2 degrees. He couldn't even graduate high school, and because he had to go home and help on farm. And meanwhile, he paid for her to go and get a nursing degree and a teaching degree. It was
and after all that, he's still much smarter than her.
Well, he was, yeah, no doubt about it.
Grandpa was he was a
brilliant,
very intelligent man,
very intelligent. But
he could do all math, and which I used to be able to do that, do the math in his head. Like he was doing some deal with a guy, and guy was running into the house to get a calculator, and he already had figured out and had the right exact number. The guy checked it on the calculator, and it was some,
and he loved to haggle.
Complicated thing.
He loved to haggle. After he retired, and I took over the farm, and he was retired, and there was a period there for about maybe 10 years before Mom got a bit, so she couldn't move very well. She should have had hip replacement, but she had really bad medical care, and they never even considered that. And her hips got so bad she was in a wheelchair, but she could have easily been a candidate for hip replacement. That's another story maybe we can talk about at some point. But if I was someone who was a litigation person, I would just sue those
crappy
doctors.
Doctor, huh?
Very crappy. I remember when we did finally, go. And we went to a clinic, and it was a doctor from another town. They came from Aberdeen. They came to Huron, and they did X-rays, and they were looking at her. And I excused myself because I had to use the restroom, and I went out, and I'm in the hallway. And in the hallways where they have the where you read the x-rays, because you can have them on the wall and you can stand there and it takes up space on the wall. So they had them in the hallway. And the doctor was reviewing my mom's x-rays as I walked past. I probably wasn't supposed to hear that. And he said that I've never seen anything like that. He was talking about my mom. He said, bone on bone. I've never seen it that bad. He didn't say that in front of her, but he said that to the nurse practitioner or whatever, his assistant, as I walked past. And of course I heard it. So, but by that time she was too ill. They couldn't do the operation for hip replacement. So she spent the rest of her life in a wheelchair, but she could have had hip replacement. Anyway.
Which,
the last
that was pretty close to the end of her life too.
It was.
Because I don't have many memories. I don't have a lot of memories of her being in a wheelchair.
And anyway, so the last 10 years or so, they had a wonderful time. They would go to all the flea markets, and Dad would they'd have a table. There'd be all, places where you can set up all kinds of events. Every weekend, there's a place you can go where people are just selling, like flea market-y stuff. And Dad would buy brand new tools from Harbor Freight and sell them for more than he paid for them. How does that even work? Brand new tools that you could order from Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
A coupon probably too, though.
Yeah, he was the coupon master. And anyway, but he just loved it, and the negotiation. And we already did a clip on the pen, the negotiation for the new combine. And he's trying to beat the guy up on the price. He loved to haggle. Just loved it, didn't he?
My mom got them into Beanie Baby back before it went upside down, of course. Grandma probably passed away before it even went belly up. So they were right in the middle of it, where you can make quite the living buying and selling, and they had hundreds of Beanie Babies, hundreds.
They did, yeah.
And I think they still had some of the end, but they had more than made money.
Oh, yeah,
because they had flipped so many.
I remember there was one that was only available in Japan, and I used to go to Japan because I was exporting soybeans to Japan. And they asked me, can you find a Beanie Baby made only available in Japan? And I remember I spent an entire weekend trying to find a shop that sold Beanie Baby. Nobody ever heard of them. I'd asked so many people because I was, I knew a lot. I had a lot of friends and business contacts in Japan, and I would, I'd have the business meeting, and then I'd say, well, I'm trying to buy, be packing up and everything, and you're niceties, you're exchanging pleasantries. And I'd say, hey, by the way, I'm trying to buy this Beanie Baby. And nobody knew what it was. Nobody had ever heard of it. Nobody.
That's so funny because nowadays, like, little stuffed animals are so popular. Like,
yeah, they are. But that was
them up with those crane
But
things.
then
so
the Googling wasn't a really thing. This would probably be maybe
earlier 90s.
No, it was probably aughts, maybe I don't know exactly, 2000 to 2005. I'm not 100% sure. Now I just Google it, but Googling wasn't something you could do so easily. And so I did all that work all weekend, and I identified one. It was expensive. And I called home and I asked Dad, I said, I found one, but it's going to cost this much, like $150. And you know what my dad said? He said, oh, never mind. We found one here for cheaper than that. That was my dad. I mean, your time does not matter. Your time does not matter. His time is important, very important to him. But your time, it means nothing to me.
Your time doesn't affect him anyway.
One of a kind. Yeah. So that back then they had those special limited editions ones. I remember I found it. I was so proud of myself when I found it somewhere and because it literally took all weekend. I finally found it, I think, on a Sunday afternoon, and a Saturday and Sunday looking for this Beanie Baby that nobody had ever heard of. And finally I identified it. And he said, no, we found one for like $30 or something in the US. So okay.
Yeah, people end up losing thousands of dollars on those things, thinking that they would be investments. Like, they're making way too many of those things. Like, yeah, because people would be buying up them like crazy, and the ones that really make sense to buy would be the ones that where they stop making them. There's a limited amount of those, but then I think it's not just that they made so many of them. The fad just ended. People just lost interest. They got old. You move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Pokemon is one that's just been able to hold on for years now and just blow up. And there's been
even sneakers. Okay, I saw a clip today,
Sneakers
and I
is
know
always one of the top searches on eBay.
So you're the sneaker guy. I don't know anything about that, but I mean, I saw a clip today that came across my Instagram feed, and I think it was a skit. But a guy had a sneakers, and I didn't recognize them, but they had different colors, like blue and red lines going across them. You'd probably recognize them if I showed them to you, and if I showed you that clip. And it was a guy. I'm pretty sure it was a skit, but it was a guy who was selling them. He said, "These were my dad's, and he died, and I want to sell these." And the guy, and they were meeting, and the guy said, "Well, let me take a look at them. Your dad did wear them, so they do have some wear on them. And what were you hoping to get out of them?" "Well, I know my dad paid $250 for them new." "Well, I can't pay you that. They're not worth that." He said, "How about 175 or something like that?" And the guy said, "Okay, 175." And then the guy, it was a skit. The guy goes about 15 feet away and he starts screaming, yeah. And he comes back. He said, 175, right? Yeah. And he buys them. And then that was the end of the skit. But you go to the comments, like you always go to the comments, and people are saying these were $200,000 shoes. Is there such a thing as $200,000 shoes?
Yeah.
Yes, there are?
Yeah. There's shoes that get, they're so limited edition or whatever. Yeah. If they're especially if they're in the box or whatever and haven't been used, it's something like, maybe they only made 100 of them or less, or something unique. I mean, that's the same thing for bags, and there's always something that's ridiculously priced. It goes like at an auction, it goes for 20.
Well, yeah. I mean,
okay, it's gonna probably be like Jordan, like worn shoes, like those kind of shoes are easily if you can get some of the originals, like rookies, or just the original Jordans. I mean, those are worth good money. But if you can get they can prove that they're worn by Jordan when he won a championship or something, or did something particular, those can be worth crazy money. So I wonder what the most shoes are. It's probably Jordans. I bet it could be something else.
$200,000 for a pair of sneakers. I mean, I'm a guitarist and I love guitars. You can see some guitars behind. And the most expensive guitar that I'm aware of is a 59 Les Paul. And they only made like 225 of them. And the highest price I've heard of a 59 Les Paul is $250,000. I think that's the most expensive guitar. If any of you know of one that's, I mean, I'm not talking about like, Eric Clapton played it or Jimi Hendrix played it or, something like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just a guitar that is a normal guitar that came out of the factory unmodified, and it's worth that because there aren't that many of them, and it's a really great sounding instrument. But it's used to make music, and there are people who are saying that it's the best sounding Les Paul that there is, and they try to replicate that. The Gibson does. But shoes, you just wear shoes. I mean, okay, I don't get it. Obviously, I don't get it, so I should just keep my mouth shut. Just close your mouth, Tim, because you don't get it. So don't say another word.
Well, there's an auction last year, and this would make sense. Movie worn, the Wizard of Oz shoes sold for $32 million.
Okay, well, that's something different. That's memorabilia.
Yeah, it's going to be like Michael. Then the next is Michael Jordan shoes.
Michael Jackson's glove, that's connected to the celebrity. I'm talking about something that is just not connected to any celebrity, wasn't worn or used or in any movie or anything like that, just something that was made. How can it be,
Well, yeah, then you're probably going to get less than, it's going to be more of that $10,000, $20,000 mark, unless it's got some gold and plated or something, maybe, or something. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it looks like all the really expensive ones are, 30 karat diamonds.
One of my favorite things that I love to watch is a guy in Atlanta, because I love watches. I love, in fact, I mean, that's one thing I share, although I'm not on his level. But I mean, I'm just starting. I have this Tag Heuer, which was made in the aughts or the 90s, and I used to have a Rolex when I was in New York City. But boy, if I'd still have that's worth like that. That watch is, I think, an oyster, perpetual oyster, uh, gold and stainless steel. I think it's probably worth 20,000 now, 15 at least. Anyway, there's a guy who I left it in a taxi cab. That's another story I should tell one day. Maybe another story I tell you how. And I did get covered. It was insured, and I got more money than I'd paid for it back. But anyway, I like to watch this Atlanta Vintage Watches, I think it's called. This guy who does these clips of people come in and are selling used watches and gold and different things, jewelry. And it's quite interesting because I know the possibility that these are skits or even AI today. You can't be sure. Things could be AI generated. You can't be sure, but assuming it's real, it's interesting. These people are coming in, and the guy who buys it immediately knows the models and the ins and outs, and a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. And it's a complicated case, man. And he always knows, they come in and he'll say, well, that's not worth that much because it's an older model and it's scratched, or you're missing some links because, people come in that have small wrists and they've taken links out, and he'll say, you don't have the box, you don't have the papers, and there's 2 links missing. All that detracts from the value. So I've learned a little bit about classic watches from watching this, and it's just fascinating. It's a market that is, similar, I suppose. It's something that people collect. John Mayer, who's a good songwriter and guitarist that I highly admire, I know that he's a big watch collector guy, and that's an interesting thing. Now I can see value in that. Watches are cool and appreciate value. Sneakers, not for me, I guess. It's for my nephew.
You really haven't got into the whole guitar collect. I mean, somebody would think you collect guitars.
My buddy Jimmy and I, my best friend Jimmy and I have talked about that because he's a phenomenal guitar player. And I mean, there's a guy we know in Madison who just bought a guitar, an SG played by a famous player, and he had to get a loan from the bank to get it. It was $85,000. And my number one guitar player influence is Eric Clapton. And even if I could get Blackie, which was, his great guitar, well, the one that I would like to, if money was no object, and there is one guitar that I would like. It's called the Fool, which Eric Clapton played for a short time in the 60s. And it was, the reason it's so special is that this artist group, they call themselves the Fool. They're from the Netherlands. They painted this beautiful artwork on the guitar, and it was a one of a kind, hand painted. And that guitar is, I wouldn't mind having that. And my buddy Jimmy, now who owned it, which I didn't know, Jim Irsay. Do you know who the Irsays are? Football fan. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to know this. Football fan. Turn in your card for the football fan. No, the Colts owner, Jim Irsay, recently. Colts are killing it, man.
I know they are.
Killing it. Anyway, I follow the Colts because my buddy is from Indiana and he loves the Colts. And so I check the game so I know that I can congratulate him or commiserate with him or whatever. But they're doing great. I don't think they've only lost 2 so far. They're just killing it. But anyway, Jim Irsay died, and his daughters took over. 3 daughters, and boy, they are killing it. They're doing a great job. But Jim Irsay liked to collect guitars, and his guitar collection is being auctioned now. And Jimmy sent me this memo. He said, hey, I know, because we've been talking about the Fool, Clapton's guitar. And he said, hey, you can buy it. and he sent me the listing, and that's just one of the guitars that he has. In fact, he bought this just very recently. He's only had it for like a couple years before he died. So he just acquired it recently, and he recently acquired it for $3.2 million, I think. So it's a one of a kind, and that rarely do I care about just the fact that it was played by so-and-so, but the fact the Fool is, to me, a different category. I love art. I'm a huge art fan. And so this is combining music and art into one piece. It's like a painting that is worth $3.2 million. It just happens to be in the form of a guitar, is the way I look at it. And so I would never, like Stevie Ray Vaughan's #1 guitar where he had SRV on the initials. I don't care. I'm a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. I don't care. I'm not interested in that just because the artist played it. But that's me. There are a lot of guitar players who go crazy for that kind of stuff. That's me. I want
that's Tim.
A guitar that has Tim Wolf on the pick guard.
That's Tim.
So you had asked about guitars that have been played by famous people, and it's not. The only exception would be the Fool, the one that SG that Clapton played for a short while.
Well,
in the 60s.
What I was trying to ask is that all your guitars you've gotten to play. You haven't bought
to play,
any of them
right,
to collect.
Right. That's correct. Yeah. So the most expensive guitar, probably the most expensive musical piece that I have is I have a 59 Bassman amp and Fender Bassman amp. And that's valuable. That's up there in value. But other than that, all my guitars, nothing vintage. The oldest, well, I have a 50s ES 125 Gibson, early 50s, but that's kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Gibson line. Nobody wants an ES 125. It's probably worth, it's an older guitar, but it's probably worth $1,200, $1,500. Not really worth that much.
Tim keeps him in the closet. The other guitars, I'm really feeling comfortable seeing it. Oh, that's a stepchild.
If you had a early 50s ES 175 or 335, that's worth a lot more money. But the ES 125, here's an interesting fact that probably most guitar players know, but the model numbers that they assigned, ES 125, ES 175, ES 250, ES 335, ES 345, ES 355. I think they even had an ES 450. The ES stands for Electric Spanish because it had an arch top and the Spanish guitar with F holes versus a flat top that has a hole in the middle. That's a lot of acoustic guitars are flat top. So an arch top, the top is arched, has a slight arch to it, and then the F holes, sound holes are on the side. They call it ES for Electric Spanish style. And then the number after that was how much it was selling for. They didn't factor in that there was going to be inflation. So at the time when they launched that, the ES 125 sold for
$25.
No. Why would you think?
That's the end of the podcast.
125. 125.
Oh, I thought I was going to be way off. I was trying to say a really low number. I was still only
ES 175 would be
175.
Yes. And ES 335 was 335, and so on and so on. So the lowest level, I think they also had an ES 100, but not for a long time. When they had the full line, the ES 125 was the entry level, the beginner level, the basic level, and that's what this guitar is. But it is a phenomenal guitar, and I would never part with it. I bought it from a friend that it was his dad's, and he was a piano player, and he didn't want it. And I love this guitar. It has a phenomenal tone, and
what if I give you 6-7?
Get out of here with that. You can close it down with that, I guess.
I should wrap it up right there with the little.
Why are you doing the 6-7? Make sure you tie that in.
No, yeah, but I mentioned at the beginning, yeah, that's the little fad going around, the 6-7. Means absolutely nothing.
Well, this is episode 6-7.
Yeah, this is episode 6-7. Yeah, I think I opened with that.
Yeah, but maybe people just tuned in.
Maybe you just tuned in. Thank you for joining. Well, you're late. Please rewind. Thanks for watching the podcast. No Sugar, No Cream. Check us out on Spotify, Apple, and of course on Facebook, where most of our listeners are. Please feel free to follow us and check out any of our clips, share the podcast on from No Sugar, No Cream. We're just trying to get a few more followers on our No Sugar, No Cream main Facebook page, and we'll be able to go live from there. But guys, we appreciate you listening and watching and enjoying and laughing with us.